Welcome back to What's on My Needles, and this time I am using up the leftover yarn from this sweater. So this was about a skein of yarn due to how it worked up. This is what's left of the yarn from the body, and then these are what's left of the yarn from the sleeves, just so I could make sure that everything matched. And I'm going to make a dress out of it. If you'd like to see how I do the math to figure out how many stitches I'm casting on and how to do the decreases, go ahead and comment below and I will go ahead and film that video. But today we're going to cast on and we're going to get going on this. So let me set up and I'll be right back. So this is just a reminder, or a first time for those of you who didn't watch the other set. This is what this yarn looks like. So it is 4 individual strands that are not twisted together but are worked as one. So this does lead to some interesting quirks as I'm working, but nothing that is insurmountable. So I'm going to make a slip knot. Then onto the needle. So I leave the working yarn in the back, and I'm going to do a knit on cast on, or a knitted cast on. So insert through the front, pick up a loop, pull through, and place on the needle. Now, some people twist this more, some people don't. Some people, instead of going through the loop on the second, third, and so on loops, they actually go in between. So instead of going here, they actually go here. So I'm not, in that case, I would not be catching the loop at all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around. This yarn does not inherently have a lot of stretch. It does have a lot of drape. It is 100% cotton. That is part of what adds to that. So it's going to take a bit to cast on all the stitches I need, so I will be back probably after I do the first couple rows. So here's a breakdown of what that pattern is again. So if you watched one of my previous videos, you got to see how it worked. But I'm going to knit 3 and then purl 1, knit 1, and purl 1. And that continues all the way around. And then because this is in the round rather than back and forth, there is no wrong side for me to do my purl round on. So instead it's knit around every other round. And I happen to be on an increase row. So this is the raglan increase. So I'm going to be doing a diagonal line of increases that are paired. And that is just to increase from the neck to the arm's eye. So I get all the way to the end. And I need to do a lifted purl increase. So a left leaning lifted purl increase. So I'm going into the stitch below where I just worked. I'm going to purl into it. Slip the stitch. Pick up the matching stitch on the other side. And purl into that one. And then continue in pattern. So I'm going to do that quite a few more times, but you can already see this is a super drapey fabric. So I'm going to keep going until I get to the underarms and I'll be right back. Okay, so here I am ready to separate the sleeves out. So what I'm actually going to do first is do the 9 reverse E cast-ons. So I'm making a loop and placing it over my fingers. Loop, or not over my fingers, over my needle. I'm going to do that 9 times. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, And now what I need to do is I need to take these stitches off the needles. So in a bit, I will be putting them just on a piece of scrap yarn, but for the moment, I just need to get them off of the working needles. So I'm putting them onto double pointed needles. I'm slipping straight across. I'm not twisting or anything else. I'm going to do that all the way across. So this style of top, so this happens to be a dress, but the style of increases in top is a raglan, and it's a seamless raglan, meaning that I'm not having to put the sleeves into the final dress after the piece is made. So I'm not making a front and a back and two sleeves and sewing them together. I'm literally starting at the neckline, and the sleeves were incorporated into it with those increases. So this is the pulling the sleeves out, and then I'm going to go from here and just work the body for a bit. At some point I will come back and work the sleeves. I'm just not quite sure when that's going to happen. So I'm going to grab, well, yeah, I'm going to grab the next stitch and just knit. And then continue in pattern. So that is one sleeve. And then between here and the next marker will be the front, and then the back will be back there, with that being the other sleeve on this side. So I'm going to continue to work around for a bit. I will come back and show how some more of the increases and decreases are working. So here I am at the second decrease round. So I know it's a little hard to see on camera, but the first decrease is right here. And I have the stitch marker in place so I know which line I'm going down. So because I knit with my stitches a little twisted, I'm going to pick up my stitches, slide them over, and knit two together. That just lines the stitches up the right way. I'm going to work across to the second decrease. So because this is decreasing for the waist, I am only doing the decreases in the front. This allows for a little bit better shaping from the bust line to the waist. And also I'm not very busty, so I don't need as many stitches taken out. I'm only taking out a total of 12. And that's more because that's what I can do to keep the pattern looking good as I go down. I'm going to keep working across. So right now I've got stitch markers marking the sides, so the back of the underarm, and on these two darts. When I start doing the darts for the bottom, so those will be increases, I will add 2 markers to the back of the dress. But the front will always be slightly smaller than the back. Okay, so this is actually just a knit row, making the decreases a little bit easier. So in my case, again, because my stitches are twisted, I can just insert and knit and have the stitches lay the way I want. I have gotten to the first color change. So as a reminder, the yarn is doing the color change for me. I'm not having to actively do a color change. But we are about 8 rows into that light purple coming in. Chances are by next video, when I'm adding the skirt on, I will be much farther through this color, if not onto the next color, which is 2 of those strands. So this is a 4-strand yarn. As the colors get added, 1 strand changes out at a time. and eventually it will go through this light purple to a dark purple to black. So I will see you next time on What's on My Needles.